Hey there, Internet. How's it going? Welcome to another episode of the Jongravesshow. And today I'm talking to everybody about Little Big Planet 3. Not that much of a bad game. Well, for it to be a sequel to Little Big Planet 2 and also Little Big Planet 1, from what I have read and from what I've seen and from what I've put my hands on, the game itself really isn't necessarily bad. However, you do feel a drastic change from what you do feel from Little Big Planet 2 and the first Little Big Planet, whereas the first one was more into getting everybody into the world and you being way more creative. The second one was a nice contrast to becoming the opposite. Even though it gave you way more control, the levels themselves, they were on the same creative narrative. However, the idea of it was the destruction of imagination in you as a player, in the story at least, trying to save it. This third one, however, really it's more like the first one. It's just getting everything out there, having a good time. It gives you way more options as to this one. I will say it feels more of a level creator, not necessarily something that is focused on the single player, even though the single player experience, it is fun. Whereas from what I've read, a lot of people, they do necessarily have a problem with the unimaginative levels, which at the end of the day is like, really, as long as you're not making like a super large level whereas it traverses from fire to ice and all this craziness, then really the game itself is doing itself a service. Whereas I feel that most of the levels were more or less built around single player and not necessarily around co-op multiplayer, which that could be a reason for most of the backlash and most of the problems, which kind of really isn't all that big of a deal, but you know, it's a small thing. This one does bring forth blasters and every other weapon, or at least putting a lot more emphasis on them, so that people can actually put in power-ups and put in types of other things, so that giving the levels, or at least give the levels a little bit more ground. I mean, the game still doesn't necessarily have any actual enemies in which that you have to run into or shoot or deal with anything like that. It's more or less of something of dealing with obstacles, or just giving your character something interesting to hold on to. But give or take with that, I do really want to ask the question of, if they make another Little Big Planet, what else can they really give you aside from just making interesting levels, you sharing them with the people, and pretty much you and your friends, you have a fun time just running through these little obstacle courses with your own customizable sack boy. I mean, or sack girl. I mean, really, that's pretty much what Little Big Planet is. It's sort of like Minecraft in a way, in which that or Terra Grigia, I believe it's called. Whereas the fun of the game is really built around the imagination and the creation of almost everything that's in the world. I mean, really, if you take out the crafting system in Minecraft, it's taking something away from it, and that's where most of its strength lies. Same thing with all the other games, and that's the same thing with Little Big Planet. Its strength will always be in its level creator, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. The story mode, it may struggle a little bit from it, but really, you really got to ask the question: if they make a 4, what else can they really bring to the table? So that's what I have to say about that. What do you guys think about it? Please tell me down there in the comment section. Please give me a positive or a negative comment in the comment section. I'll catch you guys on the next Jongravesshow. So please keep watching anime, keep playing video games. I'm out.